Hello YouTube, it is Friday the 26th of June and I think it's about 5:20 in the morning. I've been out for over an hour. We have just had a little bit of a shower. I think we're in for some thunderstorms today, so we'll see how that goes. As long as I don't get any hail, I don't mind. And my peas are coming on quite nicely. I know some of you have been eating peas for a while, but I haven't been so lucky this year, unfortunately. But they're coming on now. They are starting to get some good pods on them. This was the second sowing, as the first sowing didn't do any good at all, and the second sowing wasn't brilliant, but they do look as though they've turned out okay. This is green Hirsch shaft, and there's plenty of flowers on them, and also there's some pods coming on them now as well. So yeah, that's one crop I wouldn't want to be without, is fresh peas. And the one at the front here, this is a petit pois. I have got the name of it in the house, and I'll let you know what it is before or when I harvest. But these are coming on lovely, and they're going to be a bigger pod than what I expected. And they're born in twos, and there's certainly a lot of flowers on them. I don't know if you can just see actually how many there are. Never grown them before, and looking forward to seeing how they are. I didn't think that it would be much of a crop, with it being a petit pois, very small pea, but it certainly seems to look like it's going to make up for it in quantity. You can see them there, they're absolutely dripping with them. So looking forward to those. And still on the subject of peas, you'll remember I took my overwintering onions and garlic out a fortnight ago, and I put 3 rows direct sown peas in here. These are Kelvin Wonder, and germination's been pretty good on them. Yeah, direct sowing. We're not awash with mice at the moment here. In fact, this year seems to be less damage with mice at all. I've had a mouse trap in one of my sheds with some chocolate in it for a month, and the chocolate's still there, which is very unusual. But they came up. I think I sowed them on the Friday, and they came up. They were up by the following Wednesday. So 5-6 days, and they were through. And shallots. This is a French shallot, the grey shallot, and reputed to have one of the best flavours of the shallot family. And I've tried these many times in the past and never had any success with them, and they're expensive seed to buy as a bulb, as a set. So I'm very pleased, and they've all going over now and starting to change colour. And I'll show you these when I have harvested them. I want to get these up before the rain comes, but there doesn't look a lot on top, but I'm pretty sure that it's all underneath. You can see they just look like stems really, but I'm pretty sure that the crop is underneath. So I'll harvest them and show you them when I come. I'll bring you back to show you them. And here I've got Golden Gourmet. These have split nicely. These are for pickling, and I think this is the first year I've grown shallots and none have gone to seed. There are some very large ones amongst them, but what I thought I would do was save these 2 bunches at the top here, because they split into the most amount of bulbs. I think last year or the year before, some people were planting large bulbs and smaller bulbs to see which they got the best crop off. And I can't remember what the outcome was, but I'm going to plant these 2, save these 2 and plant these on for overwinter this coming season, solely because they've split into the most amount. That one there has got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 bulbs on that one. So I'll be planting. And I've only got 10 in there, so maybe I'll just save the one and pickle all the rest. My other onions are doing okay. Those are from Medwin. They were Red Baron sets, and I've had 3 or 4 of those go to seed. But all my own onions sown from seed, touch wood, none of them have gone to seed as yet, which is good. And I don't know if you can see the blackbird there. They're out hunting for the worms this morning. They've obviously had another hatch of eggs, which will be their 3rd one this year. And yeah, they're busy in the garden. I'll just take you over to where the squashes are. This heat doesn't do the garden any good. We've had some real hot days. Squashes and pumpkins. These do take a while to get going, but once they get going, they do well. And I don't know if you can see, I'm training the spurs there to go in which direction I want. And then once they grow on, I just take that little pin out and put it on a little bit further wherever I want them to go. And they all look well here. That one's obviously going to be a bush one, I think. No, not that one, sorry. That's a bush one. But they should fill all of this plot here. And I'll let you know what varieties are once you start to see the fruit on them. One thing I'm pleased about, me climbing French beans are starting to go up the obelisk. They were a last minute thing. I wasn't going to grow any climbing ones. I've got some dwarf, but I'm very pleased with them, and the same over there as well. And I do have a spaghetti squash, which I'm training to go up that obelisk there. And I have another spaghetti squash, slowly turning around, here, which I'm going to let run across the ground. So we'll see what the difference is. They do put roots out along their stems, which draws up nutrients. So I'm sure you'll get a better crop from the ones which do run across the ground. But spaghetti squash, they're quite prolific if you get a good plant established. So I should get some fruit off the ones that I train up the obelisk. And this here is a Marrow. I saw this variety at the Malvern show and he got a first prize, and Light and Bella, and it looked lovely. So I got some seed, and there's been a lot of flowers on them, and it looks like they may have started to take, but I didn't realise it was a bush, which makes it a bit more awkward if you get 4 or 5 fruit on each one. I thought it might have been a trailing one, but it isn't, it's a bush. So be nice to see how they go. They've produced male and female flowers at the same time. I believe if you get mostly male flowers, it's a sign that the plant is under stress. But don't quote me on that, it was just something I'm pretty sure that I read somewhere. If you get all male flowers to begin with, or a lot of them, then the plant is in stress, one way or another, whether it be water or nutrients or whatever. If I spin you around slowly, courgettes there, we're starting to harvest them now. There's 2 plants I have here. Why 2, I don't know, one's enough for us. But we'll have to find out some new recipes. Beautiful flower on them, but we've been picking them. If you shred them in a salad, very nice raw, very nice like that. But there's plenty of other ways, and we'll certainly be looking through the cookbooks to see how to use all those. I'll try and spin you around very slowly. These two here, this one here is my own seed from, that's a Crown Prince. That's from, the seed is 2 years old, and I did do a video on the pumpkin that I saved it from, and the seed was excellent, very thick and very big, so that's why I saved that one. And that one over there next to it is the Cheeky Prince, and that was kindly sent to me from Kelly, from Kelly's Kitchen Garden. Pop over and have a look. She's got a great channel. She's done marvellous with her field. I'm sure she won't mind me calling it a field. It's certainly more than a field now. She's doing a great job up there in Angus in Scotland, and I've put these side by side to see what the difference is. There are very much similarities. Getting like Terry now. They're very much the same in many ways, and but you can see a difference. That's crossed with the Cheeky Curry and Crown Prince, hence the name Cheeky Prince. So I've got a couple of those, and that one there looks really well. And my others are just over the border there, and I'll just bring you back to show you those. And that's the shallots all harvested, both beds. And those there are the ones, Golden Gourmet, that I shall be saving for next year. That was all off one set, that was. And there's 14 there, and they're not a bad size either for shallot. So those there will be saved to plant on for next year. And there's a bucket full of shallots. Pleased with these. Not been able to grow these before. You can see how the necks go over on them, crook like that, which is what they look like when they're dried out. They're not huge, but it is about quality, not quantity, and I'm pleased with that harvest. There's plenty there for the wife and I, and the pickling ones, the Golden Gourmet, I'm very pleased with them as well. So all in all, that's a good harvest, and these will go in the polytunnel to be hung up to dry out, or I might even put them under the canopy over there. Doesn't get the sun all day, but the polytunnel does get quite warm, so it'll dry them out nicely in the polytunnel, I would think. So that's a good job on the shallot front. And these are some others that I put in a bit of spare ground here. That's another Cheeky Prince, and that's a good shot. You can see how that's growing nicely away there. Looks a good plant, that does. That's the main spur coming off there, but I see that there are others coming around the plant. It took a long time for these to get established and get going. They just seem to sit and sulk once you transplant them out, and it was good weather when I put them out, but they're coming along nicely now, and there's some others here as well. Don't know what the yellowing is on this plant. I have had it before, where you get little splashes of yellow on the leaves. I noticed as well the stems are quite yellow. It might just be the variety, although I've not grown that variety before. It is labelled somewhere. Pacific Giant Winter Squash, so I've not grown that before, but I have seen that in the past. It isn't following through too much on the new leaves that are coming, although there is the odd splash on them. So I don't know what that is. Maybe one of the viewers might know. And these two, I've been pinning them down to train them, and I shall probably take them through the bottom of the sunflowers, just to put some greenery across the bottom of the floor. And that's it for today. I shall carry on watering We do have a chance of thunder showers, but they're very much hit and miss, and they could come anywhere. Hope you're all keeping well. Sorry for lack of communication and watching videos. I have been middle of the growing season, and I decided to do this patio, and I've been doing this every spare bit of time I've had. There was one here already, but it was all rotten and gone. So I've reused what I can here and built it all up. All the posts are painted with a tar which is set dry and then set in concrete, and the bottom boards on the insides are all painted the same. So I'm hoping that all this will last quite a few years. And that junk area there is just things that I'm saving for the pond which will go here. I'll be digging out in the autumn. A job I've been wanting to do for a couple of years, but I got let down with somebody who was going to do this for me with gravel boards and concrete posts. So after a year and a half of waiting, I decided to do it myself, and it's come out all right. It's taken me a bit of time to do it, so I haven't been watching videos, I haven't been able to catch up. It's obviously a busy time anyway in the garden, and all these things here are things that I've been picking up and saving as I go along to go around the pond when it does go in. So my apologies. I will try and catch up with everybody as soon as possible. Take good care, enjoy your garden. Thank you, bye bye.